house you live in is not only made of walls and doors, it is made of energy, of breath, of unseen movements that flow quietly through every corner. When this flow is balanced, life feels light. Sleep becomes deep, conversations become gentle, and even silence feels like a friend. But when something disturbs this flow, the house begins to feel heavy. You may not see it, but you will feel it like a quiet weight pressing on your chest. Many people search outside for the reason. They blame luck, other people, or time itself. Yet often the disturbance begins within the space you call home. Energy, like water, must move freely. When it becomes stagnant, it begins to decay. This is the silent drain taking away peace, clarity, and even prosperity. Tonight you are not asked to fight this force. You are only asked to restore balance. There is something simple, something humble, something that asks for no belief, only awareness. Salt. Pure and silent, it has always been a companion of the earth. It absorbs, it neutralizes, it returns things to stillness. It does not argue with negativity, it simply dissolves it. Before you sleep tonight, walk slowly through your home. Do not rush. Feel each step. Notice where the air feels heavy, where your thoughts become restless, where your body feels uneasy. These places speak to you even if you have ignored them before. Take a small bowl of salt and place it where the energy feels most disturbed. It may be near your entrance, where all things enter. It may be in a corner that feels forgotten. It may be beside your bed, where your mind struggles to rest. As you place it, do not demand anything. Do not expect miracles. Simply be present. Let your intention be quiet and clear. Let what is heavy become light. Let what is disturbed return to peace. Then step away. The power is not only in the salt, but in your awareness. When you act with calm intention, you align yourself with balance. And when you align, the unseen begins to shift. Do not check it again and again. Do not doubt the process. Go to sleep as you are calm, aware, and open. By morning, you may not see something dramatic, but you may feel a softness in the air, a quiet ease in your chest, a space where tension once lived. This is how true change begins, not with noise, but with stillness. And remember, the outside world reflects the inside. When your space becomes clear, your mind follows. When your mind becomes clear, your life begins to move differently. The drain was never stronger than you. It only existed where awareness was absent. Tonight you return that awareness. Your home holds energy. A house is not just physical, it carries emotional and spiritual energy that affects your peace, sleep, and overall life. A home is often seen as a place made of walls, furniture, and possessions, yet its true nature is far more subtle. It carries an atmosphere that cannot be touched but is deeply felt. The moment you step inside, something within you responds. Sometimes it feels warm, peaceful, and welcoming, allowing your body to relax without effort. Other times it may feel heavy, tense, or strangely uncomfortable, even when everything appears perfectly normal. This unseen quality is the energy of the space, shaped by thoughts, emotions, and the experiences that unfold within it. Every word spoken, every feeling held, and every moment lived leaves a quiet imprint. Joy, gratitude, and calmness create a gentle and flowing environment where the mind finds rest and the heart feels at ease. On the other hand, stress, anger, and worry do not simply disappear when the moment passes. They linger, settling into corners, walls, and objects, slowly affecting the atmosphere. Over time, this accumulation can change how the home feels, turning it into a place where peace becomes harder to find. This is why sometimes you may notice that your sleep feels restless without reason, or small disagreements arise more easily. You might feel a subtle resistance when trying to focus, or an unexplainable tiredness even after rest. These are not always caused by external problems, but by the condition of the space you live in. The energy of a home quietly influences your inner state, just as your inner state influences the energy of the home. When this connection is understood, a shift begins. You realize that caring for your home is not only about cleaning visible dust, but also about maintaining a sense of balance within the unseen. It becomes an act of awareness rather than effort. You start to move through your space with more presence, noticing how each area feels instead of simply passing through it. In this awareness, you regain a sense of harmony. The home becomes more than a shelter, it becomes a reflection of your inner world. When the space feels calm and clear, your thoughts follow the same path. When the atmosphere is light, your heart feels less burdened. In this way, the home and the self are not separate but deeply connected. By understanding this, you begin to create a space that supports peace rather than silently taking it away. Negative energy creates a drain. When energy becomes stagnant or disturbed, it silently drains your happiness, clarity, and even financial flow. There are moments in life when everything appears to be in place, yet something feels off. You may be working hard, doing your best to move forward, but results seem delayed or inconsistent. Money may come but not stay, peace may appear but quickly fade, and small problems may arise again and again without clear reason. It feels like something unseen is quietly pulling things away from you. This is what can be understood as a drain, not something loud or obvious, but something subtle that slowly affects your state of being. This drain does not always come from outside circumstances. Often it forms within the environment you live in. Just as still water begins to lose its freshness, energy that does not move or renew itself becomes heavy. Over time, this heaviness begins to influence your thoughts and actions. You may find yourself overthinking more, feeling tired without clear cause, or losing motivation even for things that once felt important. These are gentle signs, easily ignored, yet they point to an imbalance that is quietly growing. The home, being the space where you spend most of your time, absorbs and reflects this condition. When emotions like stress, frustration, or worry are repeated often, they do not simply vanish. They leave behind a subtle residue. This residue gathers in silence, creating an atmosphere that feels dense and restrictive. It does not announce itself directly, but it influences how you feel, how you react, and even how you make decisions. As this continues, the drain becomes more noticeable through patterns rather than events. You might notice that opportunities slip away at the last moment, or that efforts do not bring the expected results. Relationships may feel strained over small matters, and a sense of ease becomes harder to hold on to. It is not that life is working against you, but that the space around you is no longer supporting you in the way it once did. Understanding this changes how you respond. Instead of pushing harder or blaming circumstances, you begin to look inward and around you with quiet observation. You recognize that energy, like breath, must flow freely to remain balanced. When it is blocked or burdened, it affects everything connected to it. In this realization, you take the first step toward change. Not by force, but by awareness. When you see the drain for what it is, subtle, gradual, and influenced by your surroundings, you begin to loosen its hold. And in that gentle awareness, the possibility of restoring balance begins to open. Awareness is the first solution. Instead of blaming outside forces, you must observe your space and notice where heaviness or discomfort exists. Awareness is often overlooked because it appears too simple to be powerful. The mind is used to searching for complex solutions, believing that only something difficult or dramatic can create real change. Yet the truth is quieter. The first shift does not come from doing more, but from seeing clearly. When you begin to observe without judgment, you start to understand what has always been present but unnoticed. In your home, this awareness becomes a gentle practice. Instead of moving through rooms automatically, you slow down and allow yourself to feel the space. You may notice that some areas feel calm and open, while others feel tight or uncomfortable. There might be corners you avoid without knowing why, or places where your thoughts seem to become restless. These are not random impressions. They are subtle signals showing you where energy may be unsettled or heavy. This observation is not about fear or suspicion. It is about listening. Just as you listen to your breath in stillness, you listen to the atmosphere around you. You begin to recognize patterns, how certain spaces affect your mood, how certain objects carry a sense of weight, or how the entrance of your home feels when you step inside after a long day. Through this, the invisible becomes slightly more visible, not to the eyes, but to your awareness. As this awareness deepens, you also begin to notice your own role in shaping the environment. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you hold on to leaves an impression. When you carry stress from one moment to the next without release, it quietly settles into your surroundings. When you speak with tension or act with frustration, that energy lingers. This is not something to feel guilty about, but something to understand with honesty. With understanding comes choice. Instead of reacting unconsciously, you begin to respond with presence. You may pause before speaking, take a breath before entering a room, or simply stand still for a moment and reset your state. These small actions may seem insignificant, yet they begin to change the quality of energy within your home. Awareness also teaches patience. You do not expect everything to shift instantly. You allow the process to unfold naturally, knowing that balance returns step by step. In this way, awareness becomes more than observation. It becomes a quiet form of care. And through this care, both your inner world and your outer space begin to feel lighter, clearer, and more at ease. Salt is a simple cleansing tool. Placing salt in key areas of your home helps absorb and neutralize negative energy, restoring balance. There is a quiet power in simple things, often overlooked because they do not appear extraordinary. Salt is one of these humble elements. It does not shine, it does not demand attention, yet it has been valued across time for its ability to preserve, to cleanse, and to restore balance. Its nature is steady and grounded, connected deeply to the earth. When used with awareness, it becomes more than a physical substance. It becomes a silent participant in bringing harmony back to a space. In a home where energy feels unsettled, the goal is not to fight what is heavy, but to gently transform it. Salt works in this quiet way. It does not resist or push against negativity. Instead, it absorbs and neutralizes. Like a still lake that receives falling leaves without disturbance, it takes in what is present and softens its impact. This is why placing salt in certain areas of your home can begin to shift the atmosphere in subtle but meaningful ways. The act itself is simple, yet it carries intention. You take a small bowl and fill it with salt without rush or distraction. As you hold it, you remain present, allowing your mind to settle. Then you place it in a space that feels heavy, perhaps near the entrance, where outside energy enters, or in a corner that feels neglected, or near where you rest. The placement is not about rules, but about feeling. Your awareness guides you to where it is needed most. Once placed, the salt begins its quiet work. You may not see anything change immediately, and that is part of its nature. It does not create sudden noise or dramatic shifts. Instead, it gradually softens the weight in the space, allowing energy to move more freely again. Over time, the air may feel lighter, the room may seem more open, and your own presence within it may feel more at ease. It is important to understand that the salt itself is not a magical solution. Its effectiveness is closely tied to the intention behind it. When you act with calmness and clarity, you create alignment within yourself. This alignment extends into your surroundings, supporting the process of balance. The salt becomes a tool, but your awareness is the guiding force. This way, the practice remains simple and grounded. There is no need for complexity or belief in something distant. You are simply using what is already available with presence and care. And through this small, mindful act, you begin to restore a sense of harmony that was never truly lost, only waiting to be noticed again. Intention brings real change. The true power lies in calm intention and mindfulness. When you act with awareness, peace and harmony naturally return. Intention is a quiet force, often underestimated because it cannot be seen or measured. Yet it shapes the way you experience everything. When your intention is scattered, your actions feel uncertain and the results reflect that same confusion. But when your intention becomes calm and clear, even the smallest action begins to carry a sense of purpose. This is where real change begins, not in effort alone, but in the quality of awareness behind that effort. When you choose to bring balance into your home, it is not the act itself that creates transformation, but the state of mind you bring to it. If your thoughts are rushed, doubtful, or distracted, the action becomes empty, like a movement without meaning. But when you slow down and act with presence, something shifts. You are no longer reacting to discomfort, you are responding with understanding. This difference is subtle yet powerful. As you place something as simple as salt in your space, your intention becomes the bridge between the physical and the unseen. You are not commanding change or forcing an outcome. Instead, you are allowing a new condition to form. In your mind, you may hold a gentle awareness that heaviness can become light, that tension can dissolve, that what feels stuck can begin to move again. This awareness does not need to be spoken loudly or repeated constantly. It is enough to feel it once, clearly and sincerely. After this, the most important step is to let go. Many people place their focus on the action but then return again and again with doubt, checking if something has changed, questioning whether it worked. This restless thinking creates more disturbance, pulling you away from the calm state you created. Trust is not about believing blindly, but about allowing space for change to happen without interference. As you rest, your mind settles and your body follows. In this stillness, your environment also begins to reflect that same calm. You may notice small changes, a lighter feeling when you wake, a sense of ease in your breathing, or a quiet clarity in your thoughts. These are not dramatic transformations, but they are real. They show that something within and around you has begun to shift. Over time, this practice teaches you something deeper. You begin to understand that your outer world is closely connected to your inner state. When your intention is steady, your environment becomes supportive. When your awareness is present, your life flows with less resistance. In this way, change is no longer something you chase. It becomes something you allow gently and naturally through the simple act of being aware.